And on a rather sad note, welcome to the season finale of the 2024 point score. I am your host for tonight, Alexis Kaless, my fresh haircut. We've got our resident jazz player, Paul Craft. Good evening, Paul. Look at that.
What am I going to get?
Yeah. You're the local loony bin, I think. But that's, of course, our historian, John Sunde. Welcome, John. Welcome, Paul, to the season finale for the 2024 point score season.
Yeah, what a sad night. What a sad occasion. It's all over.
What a freaking awesome night it was. I know
that's right. What a night. It's the end of the sad for Thierry for the end of the season, but we finished on an absolute barnstorming race. The last lap catch by A grade halfway through to get through the entire strung out B grade field, and then to watch Kurt Eather take his third win of the season with Jack Bennett taking out the series overall win. Spectacular night of racing.
Yeah,
Paul?
It was incredible.
Yeah, well dissected by Jack. John, do you want to throw something in before I start?
I was just going to say how lucky we were, firstly, to have such a superb evening, blue sky and sunlight, because once we get to that sort of last week of March, you can get a bit dodgy, but we were blessed with incredible weather. And then we were blessed with with a great field, a great spectator crowd watching, and an incredible finish.
Yeah, it was absolutely tantalizing is the word. People will say it was a perfect handicap because it came together in the last 50 metres. John will back me on this. We do not want that every week. It is so tense for the commissaires, the organisers, for myself and you, the riders as well. The heightened risk of an incident in that situation is very evident and prevalent. You agree there, John? We don't want that sort of finish.
Absolutely. I mean, as exciting and thrilling as it was, once again, we were just blessed with an incident-free finale, and it turned out fantastic. But I'm glad I wasn't in the last lap. But what an incredible ride for Kurt! Not only to get to B grade, get through B grade, and then win it. Massive ride.
So having said my piece about we don't want that every week, it is nice to have it every now and then because, man, there wasn't a person who was a spectator that actually really knew what was going to happen because it was so unpredictable. And anyone who was there as a spectator, I guarantee, even if they didn't know anything about cycling, they had a wicked time. They had a big video, freaking hell!
Go, Glasgow!
Unbelievable time. And Alexis, you were there on the sideline. You could feel that.
You could feel the excitement and the energy coming to the last laps. Do you think? So, what were you thinking? Were you thinking 3 laps to go? B grade, we're going to still stay away? Run us through those 3, 2, 1.
No, I'm sorry, Alexis. I'm going way back. So when you guys are out riding, I grab the stopwatch. I time everybody, and I can give you the times of the 3 grades. And now, can I preface this as well? Jack Bennett and ZCC had a mission, and that was to win the series, be the Skoda Sydney City Series champion. And the way they had to do that was if they didn't catch B and C, it was over. Jack Bennett was the champion. If they caught, Jack needed to be fresh enough to sprint to get 1 point. And that's all he needed was 1 point. And so they had a mission and they dissected that brilliantly. It upset the rhythm of A grade because I saw A grade crawling at stages and then at 50 plus Ks an hour at other stages. So it's hard to say how fast they were going overall. But early on, I took the times. Here are the times. A grade were riding at a 2:42, right? Very fast. It was a good lap. But B grade were riding at a 2:48. B grade
were flying.
Were freaking flying. They were smashing it. Now, C grade I thought they were really close to getting a sub 3 minute time, 3:01. Now, that is still a fast time for C grade. So first off, it was a fast night, wasn't it, John?
Oh yeah, incredible. Not a lot of pushback from the wind, sunny night, and just super fast times. And in fact, all grades rode really, really well, I thought.
Yeah, so we get to those times, and I can tell you the outcome. The outcome says that C grade can't win it. The outcome of those times say that B grade will win it and will win it handsomely.
Wow.
And they were set to do that. A grade caught C grade at 9, maybe a little after 9 laps to go. So, Alexis, you would have seen that and gone,
yeah, I thought at that stage, I thought it was a little bit late.
Yeah.
I thought, because I didn't think C grade were rolling that quickly.
They were going fast for the first 3 laps.
Yeah, that's right.
You were flying
Shane
first
Edmonds
3
there
laps.
was doing a huge turns there on the front from Inverell mountain biking. But
oh yeah, Shane Edmonds.
I was a little surprised that it took until 9 because I thought it was a big A grade. John, you'll be able to confirm the numbers.
Yeah,
So,
biggest one we've had in about a month.
A grade were not riding fast enough. Shane Edmonds was riding fast enough in C grade. Freaking hell, I thought he could have won. If A grade didn't get up, he was in the money to win outright with B grade. He was that good. But we'll move on from that. I said A grade can't do it. They can't do it. They cannot do it. It's over. B grade are going to catch C grade. B grade are going to get there. A grade are going to ride a scratch race, meaning attack, attack, attack. I was so happy. Jack Bennett wins the series, and then something happened. And that's something, its name is Kurt Eather.
He started driving it.
He
absolutely
came
driving it
front, and he wasn't a train driver on dope, mate. He was sitting there just driving along. Anyone who works for State Rail, apologies, but I've had a friend who told me. Anyway, listen, he was just pulling big turns. Spoke to Sam Lizelle, director of Sportif of Case Park, and what did Sam say? Kurt's riding for Will Heffernan. He's riding for Will Heffernan tonight. Now,
I thought he was just doing an individual pursuit. I thought he thought he was back on the track and just had to do 4,000 metres.
Very good point, because he's that good at that sort of discipline. If he was riding for Will Heffernan, Heffernan gets his wheel in the sprint. Heffernan can sprint nowadays, and yeah, it could have worked. But at 3 laps to go, when all of a sudden I thought, wait a second, A grade can get up here, but it can't. I'm not sure if they can catch B grade. I'm not sure if they can get through them. At that point in time, little Willie Heffernan suddenly came to the front and everything got flipped because Will was burying himself. And why was he doing it? In my mind, the psychology was telling Kurt Eather, do not leave me out. I am burying myself for you here because I am so tired. This has been intense. And sure enough, A grade catch on that last lap. And as we say, we're going to get it now. Jack Bennett's going to come in and he's going to tell us the truth because...
Oh, here he is. 2024 Skoda Summer Series leader ×5.
Now, Jack,
is that 5 out of 6?
That's 5 out of 6. Now, Jack, we were just breaking down the race and we essentially got to the last lap where A grade still hadn't made the junction to B grade when the bell was ringing. Mick Cupid goes off the front, and I must admit from the sideline, I thought he's not going to get across. Or if he does, you're not going to get through an extremely strung out C and B grade with the front of B grade now thinking we can actually win this race.
A grade are in the distance there and coming as well. A grade are going to hear it shortly after. It's going to come down to the wire. It is who will do it.
Go, Sunde!
As we look to B graders and through, but here are the A graders. Tommy Lynch, this is his last turn. You can see it written all over his face. He's gone. He pulls out a parachute. He goes backwards. Michael Cupid launches. That's not a turn. That's an attack. Michael Cupid.
At that stage, where were you thinking?
I was there or thereabouts. Like I must have been 4th or 5th wheel, but yeah, I don't know if we were convinced we were going to get there at that point. Like it was very close. But then, like you said, B grade are going to start their sprint. And then we had to do almost like our own sprint just to get past them. So that was a ginormous effort. And that was sort of led by the Miko attack and then a Cam Fraser attack. And then Kurt just sort of, hunting them down and making his way through the whole bunch, which is super, super impressive. I don't know how he did it. And then,
So where did you make the catch? Where were you like mainly passing the majority of the bunch?
Probably the start of the Squircle, we got the back of them. And then the Squircle, we didn't make up much time. And then onto the back straight, like
First pimple,
we'd gone past a few, but most of the good B grades were still in front of us. And then by the netball courts, I don't think an A grader would have hit the front until on the straight. But like,
wow, not even before the corner.
Nah, not before the corner, no chance.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had a video from Ollie or someone to show it, but like, I still was deep. Like Kurt got through, and I think the problem was some people went right, some people went left, and there was a wall left, and that's how I think Ollie got through with Kurt. But yeah, it was just dodging people, and I guess we all used a lot of energy. That was the big thing.
Can I jump in? Because I was, Alexis, you were there on the sidelines. I was pretty intensely watching everything. When Mick Cupid went at the end of the straight on the bell lap. He had 2 riders on his wheel, and I'm guessing, someone correct me here, I think it was Cam Fraser and Gray, Thomas Gray. How close am I? Anyone know?
No idea.
Fraser and someone, I can't actually remember. And
let's pretend.
I think you're right on Tommy, because there he is in the middle between Rowley and Johnny Peppard.
Okay, let's pretend it is Thomas Gray and Cam Fraser on Mick Cupid's wheel. Mick Cupid touched the actual back of the B graders going into the Squircle. The A grade bunch did not catch the B graders until well after the Squircle. So the people, now bear in mind, Jack, your heart rate's at 180, 190 at this stage. And what you were seeing were the drop-offs of the B graders in the Squircle moving to the side. But those 3 got there. Mick Cupid burned all his Cupid dolls going across, and Fraser and Tom Gray rocketed through the bunch, because I was speaking to Robbie Allen, and Robbie Allen said, boom, there were 2 A graders.
Yeah,
they looked stuffed. The 2 A graders looked stuffed. So they got to the front thinking they could ride off the front of this, and that was going into the hairpin, and Cam Fraser literally did not want to lead into the straight. So he ducked in. Ben Glastonbury got to the front, and then next thing you know, Jack, your best friend Kurt Eather pops up somehow. So there was a lot in it. And the A-grade bunch with you in it, Jack, never really caught until somewhere before that first pimple, the back of the train. Mm-hmm. And it must have been like the B graders were still racing as hard as they could, surely.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we'd already done we've essentially done a sprint down the back straight to try to get past.
To get through it, yeah.
We tried to open up an actual sprint. I think that's why there was still so many B graders in the mix, because just done a full sprint to try to get past them.
So no, very, very impressive finale. Amazing result, and congratulations to Kurt on bagging his 3rd win of the season, 3rd win of the series. Also to 2nd place getter Ollie Ludlam, the first time he's turned up, and grabs a 2nd, and that was on the back of his 2nd on Sunday at Southern Cross too, I think. And then Big Ben and Glastonbury in 3rd, and Jack in 4th, and I think Cam Fraser came in 5th. So what do you think, Jack? 5 series wins in 6 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Like, I probably did the least amount of training this year to get the win, which was, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I'm probably a little bit, not lazy, but I'm just a bit, that's the 7th year I've ridden the series. The first year I just got back on the bike in September, and then we started racing. I did the first couple of races in B grade, even maybe 1 race in B grade, then straight to A grade. So 7 years back racing in Heffron. I'm not over it. I still love it a lot, but I think I'm just over the training and everything a little bit. So I'm going to have a good little break this year and relax and enjoy myself. And then I want to come back fitter and stronger and faster and more keen next year for sure.
Because you're thinking you would have, if there would have been another week, you could have been in real danger.
For sure. But
so with that last race,
we could have had 2 more races where Kurt wasn't there as well. So there, there's lots of could have, would have.
What about though that last race? So the race we've just had on Tuesday night, once you kind of hit the straight, were you thinking I have to win, or were you thinking you were kind of watching as long as I'm far enough up, I got this?
I knew the point situation. So the race I said to my teammates who do a really good job every week, but I was like, this week we don't need to chase like crazy. The only way I could lose the series was if Tommy won and I didn't get points. And up until last week, the worst result I got in the point series was a second. So it's like the chance of me not getting any points are always going to be super slim. But I said, you never know.
Heffron, mechanical, who knows what's going on.
And it's happened to me. It happened to me last year when I had a mechanical.
That's right. Look what happened to Welt last night.
Exactly. I'm pretty much the same situation. I am Wow.
Yeah. I like the mathematician. I like how much Jack analyzes and looks at the points and goes like mid race. Now I can give that point away. I can hit the sprint. I can let him beat me.
So I said we have 2 options here. We either catch and then we just start launching guys off the front, because then if someone wins, then whatever happens second, third, and fourth doesn't really matter. And I know Kurt personally would let Willie Heff or Edwin get in the break if it meant that he could let one of his teammates go for the win, and I would do the same thing. So if Willie wanted to go off the front with Mick Cupid or Phil Lucas, we would have just let them go. But then as soon as we came around the Squircle in the first lap, I've never seen B grade so far up our ass.
Yeah, exactly.
And then for 3 or 4 more laps, they were still beyond the toilet block when we were exiting.
Matching you all the way.
And our gauge for that is normally the first lap exiting the Squircle, they're entering the Squircle. The second lap, they're at the toilet block. The third lap, they're on
you don't even see them. Yeah.
Don't see them. But for 5 laps, we could see them. So I was like, we're not catching. Boys, don't worry about it. Don't stress. So we were sort of rolling turns, but not very hard and not as frequent as we usually do. And then I think when they must have caught C grade, they just sat up, because the average speed I was checking didn't change that much, but B grade just must have, they just started looking at each other, I'm guessing. I don't know. It was bizarre. I was certain we weren't catching anyone.
That's all very important data and insight, Jack. But the real question about Tuesday night is, talk us through the white jersey and white bibs for ZCC.
I don't even know. So, we have a lot of different alternate kits, and we have the fluoro, the purple, and we ordered these really nice navy jerseys this year to match those blue nicks that we wear.
Yeah.
And then we got the navy jersey and the blue nicks, then the white jersey with the blue nicks. And I was like, what about if we did the flip and had the white bibs with the navy blue jersey, which I'm quite excited. I'll crack it out soon. But then I was like, I've got this white leaders jersey. I can why not? But I thought only the last week, because then, I couldn't go every week.
How come Phil didn't get that memo?
I don't know.
Mate, obviously there's some off-season contracts going on. That's the
anyway.
Nice being made.
Nice photo of all the ZCC guys on the podium at the end of the race in their white kits. So well done, not only to you, Jack, but also the entire ZCC squad. Also wanted to just mention the other squad that made a big impact on summer racing was Centennial Park.
Oh, freaking A.
Big impact.
And also Hydroplay as well. And look, there was a lot of groups that had a lot of impact. I do have 2 questions for Jack. Jack, straight away, going into the last round, you were in a commanding position. It was a dream position. The only way you could lose it was disaster. You get a puncture or something absolutely chronic happening. No one wished that upon you. It was, if you didn't catch, you were going to win. But going into that last round, despite if you ran that race 100 times, you would have lost the series once. Good position. Were you nervous going into the final round?
Not nervous, but I was just like, it's Heffron, so anything can happen. And even watching Kurt do a lot of work, I was like, if something happens now and Kurt's cooked himself, then Tommy might win the sprint because of that.
I
And then I'm
understand.
like, and then, you know, we're catching B grade. So who knows if I get stuck behind a B grader. Tommy, you know, he was pretty well hidden the whole night. I was like, knowing Tommy, he could just appear like he did the week before.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe I start to think about it and I'm like, it's like a point score on the track. You're like trying to figure out what's possible and looking around. But I was kind of quietly confident. Like I did know that I had form that was slowly getting shitter and shitter and shitter without training. But I was just holding on to it. So
it sounds like you weren't nervous, but it was stressful.
I was just conscious of it for sure.
Yeah, there was stress going on. Now, I did have a second question. I'm hoping Alexis doesn't upset me here. I can see the point score. Congratulations, Jack Bennett, 5 times champion of the Sydney City Skoda point score series. I got to speak to Scott Law, and I asked him, Jack Bennett back in the day when knocking on the door of selection, and Jack Bennett today, which one's faster? And he kind of said, Jack Bennett over the last few years is probably faster than he was when he was a junior. What's your opinion?
It's hard to compare because you're comparing like a 16-year-old boy to a 30-year-old man. So I don't know. I always thought that when I was younger, I would have had to be faster. All the track work we were doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We're riding junior gears. I never really never really rode past under 19, so I never got onto senior gears. It's all, I don't know. It's all pre-Strava, so there's not even any quantifiable data. There was no power meters. There's nothing.
Yeah. Well, that's why I tell everyone that my time up orderly is unbeatable. It was in 1978. It's 8 minutes.
Well, congratulations, John. I also asked him which one was a nicer person when Jack as a youngster or Jack now. He didn't hesitate. He said the old Jack was nicer. I'm taking the piss there, mate. You know, don't answer it.
I was an angry kid.
Actually, Jack, as a kid, this is fair dinkum. You were a really pleasant kid, like really polite. At the end of Broad Track, you'd always come up and thank people and thank myself for putting it on. So great stuff. Alexis, what do you got?
Crafty, I used to race every chance I got.
Racing's good, mate.
Very important.
Well, I think what I've got, I was more looking at it. So I assume, John, Chris Simpson, A grade next season?
Not necessarily.
Why not?
Well, he's won one race.
He won the grade.
Someone's got to be a B grader. Look at John Sunde, never an A grader, always a B grader.
Hey, calm down, Jack.
So do any of the CPAC guys go up, or are they just going to rule B grade?
Not necessarily. October's a long way away. But you know, we just focus on what happened just now in the summer series. It's good to see in that series leaderboard names like Ben Coates from B grade.
I'd say a danger man to the series in the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And also some C grade names in there. Matt Connor. You know, Matt's been there every week, plugging away in C grade and getting in, and got some really, really good results. Julian picked up a point in one of those races. It was just good to see. Zach Miller with an outright second 1 week. That would have been, can't remember who that was behind.
So you're not going to. So if you look at that list, John, who are you pushing up a grade, or are you going to be the weak man and say nobody?
In B grade,
B, C.
Well, in B grade, let's look at the three riders have already moved up: Ben Coates, Riard, and Jackson Young.
And Kai Goldman was A grade.
Kai started, didn't last the race. But yeah, so there's 4 from B grade current series that have moved up. I think Rowley is most probably more than happy to stay in B grade. And then in C grade, we had Zach move up to B grade, did really well when he
did. Dewshurst.
Yeah, Benny Dewhurst. Unfortunately, Ben wasn't there on Tuesday night to race again or receive his prize. But, great result. By the way, C grade winner Tuesday night, Hugo, chipping away, always in the mix, 4th across the line. 3rd across the line, got a second 1 week, and then he won it. So congratulations to him and Morgs. for picking up 5 points and sharing second in the series. And then while we just look further down at the woman, huge rap to Nicole. Raced the whole season in B grade, which gave her, as we've discussed before, a bit of a disadvantage, but managed to win the series. And big rap to Lily.
Oh, the Iron Chef gets her first chef's hat.
That's right. Yeah, she certainly does. And Nicole Wilson. So they were 3 regulars. Good to see Amy Vesti in the points. And Amy was down there watching on Tuesday night. Hasn't raced in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, well done to all the girls that did race over this whole season, but especially the 5 girls who picked up points during the series.
Alexis, to your point on who goes up, 7 months from now is a long time from now.
But I can guarantee you, they're all planning and starting to train. Jack's having an off season, so everyone, once they realise,
he's already said he's coming back stronger.
I know, but everyone's going to be like,
yeah,
they're going to start training now because they've got that. They go, I can get those 4 or 5 weeks of Jack Bennett
at the time. Interesting, the podiums. Look, it was great seeing the 3 women on there, but when we got to the C graders, it was a bit sad not seeing Benny Dewhurst there, but he did apologise.
Yep.
But Jason Morgans couldn't make it to the podium for some reason as well. And we love Morgs, the winner a couple of weeks ago or 1 week ago.
Yeah, 1 week ago.
Yeah, and we love Shimano. But then the person that was unusually absent was Ben Coates. Why didn't he get on the B grade podium?
Well, he could have. We only had 2 on the B grade podium because we couldn't find Rowley. So
because Ben and Lucas,
Ben Coates,
but I think they were too busy. They weren't even in the group photo. They were just being teenagers hanging out the back.
I actually did mention that. I did mention that to Ben and Lucas riding home. I said, "What did you think I was yelling out to you and calling you over to the photo? Oh, we didn't see you. We didn't see you."
Just while we've got Jack, though, looking to the future, because I know you've got a big, you kind of are involved helping a lot of those young guys out riding. Lucas Stevenson, New South Wales Junior Cyclist of the Year, Benny Coates, Willie Heffernan, they're probably your 3 strongest juniors you see in A grade, Jack. How much?
I think Ben Coates will definitely be the one to watch. Lucas is really talented, but I think he'll go more into the climbing, time trialing sort of style of rider, just purely based on his build. He's so tall and skinny, and he's already had good results in that sort of field. Whereas Benny's quick. Benny's really quick, and I think
he proved that a couple of weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he could definitely be racing for the win in A grade by the time next, because he's at that age, 15 to 16 is a huge difference. 16 to 17, every year he's just going to get bigger and stronger and faster.
I remember when Benny used to come down and watch racing. He was about 12 or 13, and then he was so keen to race, and he was only 13. Most probably couldn't. And his dad would email, Benny wants to race, Benny wants to race. And we'd have to say, oh, Benny has to wait for another year. So in the 2 years that he's been racing, I got to say, I've seen a huge improvement in his results.
And is that what will keep you up at night, Jack?
No. I welcome it. I think it's cool. I like it a lot. Just interesting looking at this too. If you look how many riders got points in B and C grade for in the relative fields. And then A grade, especially when Kurt missed a few races, there's only 5 guys getting.
Yeah, I noticed that only 6 play, and that's picking up the first 3 places. Yeah, it's quite interesting, that, isn't it? I noticed that too.
Well done, Martin Capper and Chris Ling, because they're right. Martin Capper, that was a brilliant 4th place. Chris Ling, he's so strong, and may I add, 50+ years of age, doing pretty darn good. Jack, ZCC, it's a unique team. All right, your ambitions are, well, it's more about hanging out with your mates and having a good time. You certainly take it seriously, but you don't have tickets on yourself. Does the team change coming into 24, 25?
If you're on the team, you're on the team for life.
Right.
Is that right? What if someone wants to leave?
So Kolovas is still on the team?
He's never on the team. He was a supporter. He was a fan.
Okay.
Oh, he bought the merch. Okay, yeah. Okay, so there's no changing?
Oh, no. Not unless we unless we recruited someone, but like Aaron Bicknell still rides around in the kit when he does one ride every 2 months. So, and he's welcome. He's still in the group chat. So yeah, unless you want to leave, you can leave, but no one's getting kicked off. No one's getting their contract terminated. So.
And I hate to Michael Cupid's not going to get a new contract somewhere else.
I mean, he probably could.
He could, he could, but you're not going to invest in. Look, no offense, but he's on the wrong side of 35.
Well, yeah, especially he's 41. So
yeah, you know what I mean. But
I'm the youngster of the team.
You are the youngster.
Yeah, we got 2 guys in their 40s now, and then 2 that are close.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. That certainly says it's time for the new generation to step up.
Well, I did hear some complaints from our friends at Cage Park Up, and they are our friends, that they had to do a lot of work on Tuesday night. And Phil Lucas quite well. Well, they're the only continental race team there. So if you got to do some turns every now and again, you might have to do some turns.
Last question on ZCC. Will the team die with you guys? As in, you're not going to try and keep it alive by bringing new people in? Or you haven't thought about it? I
think that, I'd like to put a Ben Coates in the kit or something like that, but then he's going to just go to a team in the next year or 2 straight away, like Willie did. Willie was like our little special needs project that we looked after and nurtured to health, and then we just released him back into the wild, and now he's flourishing.
Crashing into trees on the way home on a Tuesday night after racing.
I suppose the other big question, though, then is what colour are you guys going to go for next season? Like, how far in advanced planning stages are you?
I mean, there's always ideas, and because I guess Bonello does work for Quire, so we do have a pretty close. It's pretty easy. Like, a new kit is any time just like 6 to 7 weeks away for us. So, and like the basis of the designs are always there. It's just like changing out colors and patterns and things. So, I mean, I've always liked something with pink. I've been a big fan of the Maglio Rosa is one of my favorite kits of all time, especially the skin suit. I've always liked that. So,
or the old Onse jersey.
The old pink and black Onse jersey, also one of my favorites. So,
go the Chipoline muscle pink.
No.
Get Becky to wear it.
Guys, I gotta go. I gotta get to work.
Hey, all the best, Jack.
All the best,
congratulations,
Jack. So, after having the series winner Jack Bennett join us just then, we thought we'd also now go back to the overall grade results to also just celebrate those who got on the podium on the final night. Obviously, Kurt Eather was first over the line, followed by Oliver Ludlam, then Ben Glastonbury. First B grader and third over the line. Huge result for a guy who earlier in the season was out with injury and has just charged back.
Ben must have looked at we're saying Cam Fraser and Tom Gray, and as it was alluded to, they were tired from doing the cross and went, no one passing me today as he hit that straight. And he hit that. All he could see was the line. He said, ain't no C grader going to pass me. Ain't no B grader going to pass me. And those 2 A graders, they're screwed. And then Kurt Eather ruined the
reality.
Wow. And did he gapped him as well.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive. But Ben Glastonbury, so good to have him back and at the front of the B grade and third on the podium. I think you'd take the third over the B grade win any day.
The one who will be spewing, though, was Rolo. Because if you saw that photo that I put up earlier, when they hit straight, he was dead center, front and center of the stage. I think he was thinking, where is he going to do 2 hands or?
It didn't quite work that way.
And then Benny's popped out from behind and collected the win. So, but I mean, look, that's for B grade. Glastonbury, Rolo, Robbie Allen. You look at that top 5, really. Tom Hyde, Pepper actually keep going through. Andrew Jacobs. That's
the men of the no offense to Nicole Oh, but they're the men of the series for B grade.
Yeah,
and
Look at number 9, Greg Rule.
Yeah.
Ruley, mention him every week. He's
Yeah.
hasn't missed a season. Well, actually, he most probably has missed a season, but he was there on day one 39 years ago, and he's certainly going to be back next year. And he wasn't just filling in the numbers; he was pulling some good turns there
at the right time too.
At about 3 or 2 to go. He was very keen for B grade to stay up. But
I was actually surprised though that Shun Sugimura. Shun was up there in 8th, which is quite surprising. That's got to be his top ride of the season, I think.
Well, congratulations. In the C graders, look, Hugo's been knocking on the door of the win. Luke Cromer's been always there, and he's always punching big numbers as well. He's there. Going down the list, Ponsac in 5th is great as well.
Actually, I would have gone 3 and 4. Where were Grant Holbert and Liam Denvik? When did they suddenly pop up?
Well, they were just behind. So Grant was his first race all season. Grant's been around for a little while.
He's got to turn up every week.
Yeah, exactly. I think he will next week, next season. So great ride by him to grab 3rd. And Liam was away before Christmas, came back to Sydney and has been racing ever since, and has been consistently, improving his finishing. So great result for him, top 5. And like you said, Ponsac, he's been up there every week. Morgs in 6, Shane, who just did some massive turns.
We can't stop. Shane was absolutely impressive.
Yeah.
And he stood out in that yellow. Going back to the 2 Dulwich Hills, they did a lot of work as well. They were on the front doing a lot. And Grant and Luke Cromer, incidentally, they raced Waratahs on Sunday and went 1st and 2nd. Grant won.
And Luke got second. Yeah. That was after your 3rd lap in attack, wasn't it, Crafty? That's what I heard.
Yeah, and guess what I rode with? Broken thumb. I crashed on Saturday. I dropped it at Saturday Heffron, and I had to go back to Heffron to get it out of my brain. And I raced, and they both out-sprinted. Well, they didn't out-sprint me. I followed their wheels in the sprint. Morg's so strong. But Edmonds, we've got to talk about him a little bit more. Man, he comes from Inverell. He was on his wife's bike.
It's a long drive down of an afternoon.
Yeah.
Does he's 5-6 hours each way.
Oh, far out. Heffron. So, I'm there pretty early, I'm there really early. Not the first there, but I'm darn close to it. He's there turning up, and he's just doing lap after lap after lap after lap.
He's very impressive. And I think, it's kind of thing where I think if there's one of those weeks where 5 or 6 get away in C grade and he gets up there with them, they will go and it'll be long dust.
Yeah,
we mentioned it before.
Well
9th
done.
place, Iron Chef.
Yes, there she is. Top 10. Good on you, Lily. Well done.
That is a well-deserved reward.
And
for
it was great to
have
a good A grade this week, because numbers have been light in A grade over the last 3 weeks. So solid A grade and a solid amount of finishes. 19 finishes. In fact, the night we had a lot of finishes. Quick math, it's pretty close to 60 finishes.
Yeah, it was.
A starting list of 87. So around that.
Who were the 2 twins from New South Wales?
Luke and Jaden, they've raced quite frequently. Quite frequently at Heffron over the years. In B grade, usually would sneak around in a bunch and then blitz everyone in the sprint. But they're, I think, they're full steam in their triathlon stuff now. So it was good to see them back for the last round. Luke getting a top 10. Very hard to tell apart.
They must be the biggest triathletes going around.
Well, they're very hard to tell
muscles.
Yeah, they're very hard to tell apart, those two. They got the same bike, same shoes.
Okay, so that's my piss off point, right? They both turn up in N-Swiss kits. Yeah. They both turn up same gloves. So freaking everything's the same, and they're twins. Stop it. I get it, but I'm like, at the end, I said,
I got a good one. I got a good one for you. Speaking about twins, so let me tell you the tip was that Luke had gloves on and Jaden didn't. What about Oliver Ludlam and his brother Tom? Yeah, ever tried to tell those two apart on a bike?
Yeah, they're hard.
Richard Scriven came up with Richard Scriven came up with the answer. He said, I've worked it out. Oliver, 5 letters. He rides what does he ride? Cervelo? Is that 5 letters? Whatever. Tom, 3 letters, rides a BMC. Well done, Richard. Good sleuth work. But congratulations to everybody who raced over the season and finished on Tuesday night. It was a fantastic night's race.
And then, so Nicole Oh obviously won the women's series. I think, though, there could be some generational change next season.
Well spotted. Isabella. Yeah, a little bit nervous
first
before
race
the start.
In C grade.
Yep.
But she rides for Randwick Bodney. I think she's first year under 19s.
No, first year. She's under 17. She's only 16. She's been down at Heffron all season with a mum, because she only lives across the road, watching racing. And was so excited to see her enter on Tuesday night. And she said to me before the start, a little bit nervous. I said, just relax, you'll be fine. And she did so well.
Yeah, I've seen her on some of the Randwick Botany club rides.
Yeah.
And I kind of had confidence then. But to see how well she rode, I think she'll be a big danger next season. She's going to only get faster and stronger. So, final round, Char Grill Charlie's of Coogee, rider of the week. Hey. I'm wondering we should also throw in a rider of the season, but I'll leave it up to you, gentlemen.
Guess what? When I was packing up in the in the back room, guess what I found?
What did you find?
This envelope, mate. And guess what was in the envelope?
Is that where I left those?
Look at it.
That's $400 worth of chicken you got there.
Oh, my
rider of the week. It has to go to Kurt. I mean, that was one of the best finishes in tough, difficult circumstances on that last lap to get up and finish. Really, really impressive. I'm going for Kurt. A grade. Okay. Hats off, Kurt.
Paul?
Yeah, okay. It was already pre-decided for me, and it's not because of the last lap finish. I think he probably took some risks in that last lap, but it was from 8, 7, 6, and 5 laps to go when I said A grade will not catch. A grade cannot catch. B grade are going to win. And then Kurt Eather happened. And for that, and for what he did, that to me was a ride of the week. Winning it, on top of it, he's a winner. Yeah, and especially
and he's class.
Yeah,
and class.
Look, you could nominate a couple other people, but I don't think I'm not going to. I'm just going. Yeah, that's my vote.
What about you, Alexi?
I think that's fair. I think, look, Benny Glastonbury will have to hold for another week. But like you said, for me, it was those turns with a couple to go where you just thought, he's not getting off the front. He's just going to sit on the front until the end of his race.
How did you know it, though? How did you know he was on the front? Because you were still in the race, yeah?
But I've also just got the amazing commentary of Paul Craft, and you can hear him saying, there he is again. You're thinking, and then I was actually thinking to myself, he's going to do a team pursuit here. He's just going to IP and do 6,000 metres.
It was like the boogeyman coming at
That's right. And then watching him in that last lap and watch the way they held that whole A grade, everyone getting through safely, but then him getting to the front. Because by then that was an extremely long group of people. You'll see when we show up the last lap video how long that C and B grade lap was. So to get through them all at the win. And then if I have to ride it a series, it's obviously Jack Bennett. He can have our Chargrill Charlies. But for our rider of the week this week, it is 3 times winner during the series.
Yeah.
Mr. Kurt Eather. Well done, Kurt. You can be throwing your dollars around.
Don't you spend all those dollars at once, Crafty. I need those.
Mate, yeah, I'll come back to you, John. I promise you. I was just so happy going, look at this, it's gold. John, rider of the series for you. Alexis says Jack Bennett.
I'd go for Jack.
Yeah.
Mr.
I'd go for Jack too. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. 5 out of 6.
1 win.
Yeah.
Even though
what was his worst result? Second?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Second or third, yeah.
So and I think you're right. Look, Jack Bennett winning the series obviously is potentially the rider of the series and a worthy one as well. But if I go back into the history of all the votes we gave for this thing, right? And that's not a bad idea, Alexis, for podcast 2024/25. We should have like a Dally M points award, 1 point for this person.
Yeah, that's a great idea. They get two vouchers.
I have been doing that. And so I can announce who the
don't, because I'm going to guess, right?
Oh, you're going to guess.
Yeah. I think rider of the series could be Ben Coates or Greg Rule. Now, Greg Rule doesn't get, I don't think he got any of my votes, and I don't think I'm getting any Rudy projects anytime soon. But I think he got a number of nominations, and I also think Benny Coates. But, you know, I voted for Benny a number of times. Alexis, you're the keeper of all knowledge because you kept telling bullshit. Did you really?
I did. And it was, and what was amazing is, no, Greg Rule never actually, he got a number of votes, but he never got a rider of the week.
Okay. I see.
Because even last week he didn't finish, so therefore that kind of knocked him out.
Your tally was only on riders of the week.
And it was indeed Mr. Ben Coates.
Yeah, well, there's my rider of the series, therefore, on the Charlie's Char Grilled chicken chili. You know, that's fantastic.
That's right. And I think that's great because that's also the next generation. It's the riders who we're thinking next season, is it going to be Benny Coates, Lucas, who's going to be challenging Jack, Tom, and Kurt?
Okay, so my favourite thing about Ben was he made a heap of mistakes. And I know in life, when you make a mistake, you probably learn more than when you do things right. You learn. And I'm really impressed on how much he's learned.
Yeah. I think if I move to like last lap and my thoughts for 2025,
It is who will do it. It is no for the wicket. As we look to B graders improve. But here are the A graders. Tommy Lynch, this is his last turn. You can see it written all over his face. He's gone. He pulls out a parachute. He goes back.
I probably look at how does B grade win more regularly. And to be honest, I think the results of the CPACS racing, the Centennial Park Audi Sydney squad, I don't know if they could have done much more. Hydroplane couldn't have done much more. Johnny Papard, Greg Rule, you know, they just need A grade to have a bad night, I think, because
and that sometimes happens.
Yeah, because I don't think they could have ridden any faster. I mean, my God, there were some weeks they were absolutely motoring. They worked well most weeks. You know, a lot of riders contribute. It's a tough one, I think, for B grade to win. So it'll be interesting to see if that dynamics changes, if any of the CPACS guys go up to A. You know,
I'm going to throw in 2 points there. Ain't nobody from any grade went home upset on the last week. B graders,
absolutely not at all.
B graders just went, Rick, that was amazing. We were so close. We didn't win, but we was like, everybody went. And now when I go back over the season, yeah, there have been complaints here and there, but with that finishing, I think every grade went, we had our chance.
And we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and we all, like CPAC and the Hydroplane, they came off that season going, there were so many highlights.
Yeah.
Robbie Allen got a win at the Joseph Sunde Anthony Spurgeon Memorial. And that was amazing. So there's all these positives. Let's do it again in 24-25. I think it's going to be amazing. I think the handicap situation of giving B grade that when the A grade they come into straight B A grade lead is a much better situation because A grade ride as hard as they need to. When it's an easy handicap, they ride only as hard as they need to.
Yeah,
when it's a hard handicap, they ride as hard as they need to. Let's make them ride as hard as they need to properly. Fair call?
Fair call.
Fair call.
I don't know if I've got much else to add. I just think, another great season. So thank you, John. Thank you, the ESCC.
Well, I just want to I'll use that opportunity now to jump in and just on behalf of East Cycling Club, thank everybody. First of all, the riders, that turned up every week and made racing what it was. Big shout out to the team for track setup, Colin Ironmonger, Gwen O'Shea on the counter, Dougie Simpson, Stu McDougall, our track sweeper, Dan Corbett. He definitely needs a mention. Rupert Guinness and Luke Cruikshank, both of those guys raced every Tuesday, but were down there at 3:30 or 4 o'clock to get the track ready. And of course, the other main track prepper, Tony Atchison.
Tony.
So thanks, Tony, for your continued support. You're not even in the club, but we love you anyway, even if you are in Southern Cross. Michael Needham and his St. John's ambulance crew. We couldn't
there'll be a lot of people thanking them.
Yeah, and we are we hate providing them training. They use it as training. We hate providing them training, but they are so happy that they're pretty much they get training a lot. So thank you.
Big thanks to Robin Sprouster, our first season for Robin, and I think she loved every week of it.
Add in Phil Dobe, who stood in for a couple. Great job, Phil. And special mention to Richard Scriven, who provides us with the content that enables us to deliver all our material. So big thanks to Rich.
I think the whole of the cycling community owes him a genuine thanks for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thank you actually goes to none other than our commentator, Paul Craft. So
thank you very much. Can I throw in two more that you may have forgotten? Sorry, John. Simon Francis.
Yes, I haven't forgotten him. Yeah.
Oh, you've got a special one for him, have you?
Well, let me say that I haven't had a ticket in Rose Bay since the incident. So we still love you and still think of you, Simon.
And Gwen, who does the presentations and sign on.
Gwen, I said Gwen O'Shea at the very beginning.
My apologies.
Yeah, you need to listen to our
apologies.
So I hope we didn't. Oh, the most important one. My God, almost forgot the bell ringer.
Your wife?
No, the bell ringer.
The king.
The king.
The king.
Last lap. All hail the king.
I loved when I interviewed the king saying who's going to win, A or B grade, and freaking what was it? The 1989 or something? The Dempsey.
Oh, the demo affair.
He's still freaking hurting about it.
Of course he is.
It's passion, man.
Then he needs to listen to this podcast because I know he doesn't listen every week. So that
can I also say he'll lose it. Thank you to both of you. What a great initiative that we've introduced with the podcast. The only podcast that takes longer than a 45-minute race. But hey, it's good fun.
But you know what? When I was hanging with some of the riders afterwards, and they were saying, don't worry about the numbers. We listen to it, and then in the bunches, we talk about it. And basically, they say, Crafty, you're a dick, stuff along those lines, But it's kind of a heap of fun.
Look, without a doubt, Ben Simpson and Lockie Carrigan love listening to the podcast.
And Danny Ricciardo is a big fan.
Danny Ricciardo is a big fan as well. So I think we have to thank...
my favourite moment was we got Benny Glastonbury to stand in as Chris Simpson because, if you're in the inner circle, Chris Simpson doesn't mind being called Ben Glastonbury. He doesn't mind it at all. In fact, he revels in it. He enjoys it.
And he thinks, why am I going all this time at the gym? But with that, we should thank, whether you're listening in your car, listening in Perth, or watching us on YouTube, wherever you are, we do enjoy, and we are glad that you join us every week for this podcast. And so with that, until next season.
See you in October.
See you in October.
Oh, fuck, that was good.
We should grass a lot on that last lap. Yeah, when we first caught them, because they didn't know we were there, obviously, it was a bit sketchy. I'd hit the grass at one stage, but once we kind of got up beside them, there was always a bit of a gap for me to be able to go, and I just switched from side to side, trying to find the run, and
coming into the straight there, one of the B graders kicked around the outside, and I was lucky enough to just jump on his wheel and get a run around the outside.
So in the end, it was just helter-skelter, and then suddenly you went, oh, there's the fresh air, I'm going to win this. Did you enjoy it?
I don't know about enjoy, but no, it's always good fun coming down here and racing, so yeah.
Yeah.